me tell you, season 10, episode 7 of Love and Marriage Huntsville gave us everything from business blow-ups to friendship boundaries and even some side-eye worthy love talk. By the end, everybody was caught between loyalty, honesty, and a whole lot of mess. So today, we're breaking down every single moment with all the drama, all the shade, and a little real talk about how this episode low-key mirrors our own friendships and relationships. Let's get into it inside jazz style. So the breakdown between Marsau and Martell is a mix of betrayal, bruised egos, and the fact that once you start throwing bombs about somebody's marriage and mental health, you can't just hug it out and move on. That's why in episode 7, when Marsau and Martell went head to head again, it didn't feel like just a disagreement. It felt like years of unresolved mess bubbling up on camera. And y'all know what's wild? They used to be tight. Like real tight, which just makes this fallout that much uglier. Meanwhile, Destiny and Lance have a conversation about Lance having a baby drama, and they finally are able to clear the air on the situation. Now listen, I get it, life get messy, but when your friend finds out your biggest news from a post and not your mouth, that's a whole trust test. And Destiny handled it calm, but you could tell she felt that stink. Just when you think the combo is cooling down, Destiny stirs the pot even more. She tells Lance that if his godbrother Twan asked her out, she'd say yes. Now pause, let's rewind that. His godbrother, Lance looked like he wanted to follow his sheriff, but to his credit, he didn't explode. He just nodded and said, thanks for the honesty. But y'all know that was awkward, because it's one thing to be open about your dating life, but it's another thing to look your friend in the face and say, yeah, I'll date your godbrother. Whew, messy boots. And looping back to Martell and Marsau, because their tension doesn't stop with business. The feud has history. Remember, Martell accused Marsau of infidelity seasons back, even bringing receipts that were more like stunts. Marsau clapped back with insults, and ever since then it's been shaky. Now, in episode 7, Marsau goes deeper, telling Martell, I want to see you back to who you were. I'm genuinely concerned about your mental health. On paper, that sounds supportive, but the way Marsau said it, it was half concern, half dig, and Martell was not feeling it. He defended himself, saying people still had questions from the reunion and he was just trying to clear the air. But baby, when ego meets ego, you're not clearing the air, you're making more fog. That's why they're stuck in this cycle of tension. And let's be real, once you accuse somebody of cheating on their spouse on TV, that friendship may never heal. Destiny and Nell sit down to hash out their beef. Nell feels blindsided by the fact that Destiny is interested in dating her godson. And Destiny clears the air and says, how you're looking at me sideways when your son was out here and had a whole baby and I knew absolutely nothing about it. Nell feels in the middle, like she has to pick sides. And honestly, no, that's not necessary, because your son's a grown man. You don't need to be in the middle of his mess. Ultimately, Destiny tells Nell that she views her as a mother figure and she wants to clear the air and she wants them to move forward in their relationship. So let's wrap this up. This episode really lived up to its name. Everybody's caught in between. Martell and Marsau between friendship and rivalry, Lance between fatherhood and friendship loyalty, Destiny between honesty and messy, Nell between hurt and hope. And thus, we're in the middle of it with all our snacks watching it play out. So here's what I want to know. Are you Team Martell or Team Marsau in this feud? Should Destiny really consider dating Nell's godson? Or is this friendship line too messy to cross? Alright fam, that's the Inside Jazz recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 10 Episode 7. If you laughed, nodded, or said woo child, even once during this breakdown, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on that bell so you don't miss a single episode.